Okay, let's see. All right, we are live, and we're going to, as usual, you know the drill, give it a few moments, see who comes into the live chat. It's always nice to have people in the live chat when we do a live, sharing energy. And we're going to continue our reading of Seeking the Spirit of Change. That's what we're going to do today. We are on day 2, Dui. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay. Let's take a nice deep centering breath to welcome us into this sacred space. Welcome us into this sacred space. Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome. So we are on part 8 of our Seeking the Spirit of Change as we're working through Master Zhang Jianwu's book on the Bagua, on the YiJing. And today we will read chapter 29 of the Tao Te Ching. That will be our reading for today, chapter 29. Does anyone want to take the world and do what he wants with it? I do not see how he can succeed. The world is a sacred vessel, which must not be tampered with or grabbed after. To tamper with it is to spoil it, and to grasp it is to lose it. In fact, for all things, there is a time for going ahead and a time for following behind, a time for slow breathing and a time for fast breathing, a time to grow in strength and a time to decay, a time to be up and a time to be down. Therefore, the sage avoids all extremes, excesses, and extravagances. So that's the Tao Te Ching, chapter 29. And that's a translation by John C.H. Wu, Shambhala Classic Library. Okay. And to even things out, always nice to have both a masculine translation and a feminine translation. So we're going to include in our reading the translation or interpretation, a new translation by Ursula Le Guin, Tao Te Ching, a book about the way and the power of the way. So 29. Not doing. Those who think to win the world by doing something to it. I see them come to grief, for the world is a sacred object. Nothing is to be done to it. To do anything to it is to damage it. To seize it is to lose it. Under heaven, some things lead, some follow. Some blow hot, some cold. Some are strong, some weak. Some are fulfilled, some fail. So the wise soul keeps away from the extremes, excess, extravagance. So there you go. We're not going to do our daily hexagram not in this recording. Right before I decided to come on to do this reading, right as I was setting up the camera, I happened to get 2 phone calls for clients. So I have 2 clients coming in this afternoon in the next hour back to back. So we won't be able to do the full reading today. So today, you see on this side of the page, oh wow. So this side of the page, this is the pictogram for Wu Wei, actionless. So this is like doing without doing, Wu Wei, which is kind of apropos. I think it sort of goes along a little bit with the Tao, chapter 29 that we were reading. And this is Dui, marsh, Dui, marsh. And over here on the left side of the page, it says Jin Chu Zhu Shen, Yuan Chu Zhu Wu, Yu Shi Shi Zhu Bagua. Now, of course, my Chinese pronunciation probably leaves much to be desired. I'll have to check with my son soon. Near at hand, he learned each part of his body, and at a distance, he understood everything in nature. Then Fu Shi invented Bagua. So let's look at that again. Near at hand, he learned each part of his body, and at a distance, he understood everything in nature. So for myself, this is telling me once again, as we shared before, of how the ancient Chinese Wu, how the ancient Chinese shamans understood the energy, the YiJing, the energy of the universe, the Tao, by centering the 4 directions upon their body and the center of their body seen as the center of the universe. And from there, the Wu were able to unlock the secrets of the flow of the yin and yang, the flow of the universe. And we see that again in this little proverb. And it sort of says to me that in order to understand the universe, in order to understand everything in nature, we must first center ourselves and learn each part of our bodies, because we are indeed a fractal of the universe. And this is the ideogram Yi, change. And we're on day 2, the change and myths. Welcome, We Are Free TV, welcome. Okay, and I need to make sure that I keep up with time today because I have a couple of clients coming. I want to make sure I have enough time to prepare for them. Okay, and I am sipping my organic fair trade Sumatra coffee, which is purchased locally from Global Libations. It's roasted locally, very wonderful company. They also have a website. If you Google Global Libations Kutztown, and you can purchase coffee from there. It's really good. So this coffee has powdered goat's milk in it and raw honey, which the raw honey is also from a local person. And this is decaffeinated. Okay. So this ideogram here is Xin Hua, which means myths. It almost looks like 2 people kneeling, talking to each other, and a great idea, a great story is rising from them. I have no idea if that's what it means, but that's what it kind of resembles to me. In Chinese, Xin means spirit, infinite, magic, marvelous, deity, and divine. Another meaning is to stretch, because ancient Chinese shamans may have performed stretching exercises to wake to, okay, where did it go? May have performed stretching exercises to wake up their inner spirits or to invite the spirits of nature and ancestors. So actually, in the oldest written Chinese characters, the oracle bone style, the Chinese character for Shen is the same as the Chinese character for lightning. This means that lightning is related to the spirit of nature and is a message from heaven. Hua means speak, talk, tell, speech, and story. Literally, Xinhua means the story about spirits or gods, and it also means Chinese myths or mythology. There were many ancient Xinhua myths in Chinese shamanism. Actually, Xinhua is a doorway to the divine. And the deities in a myth are a reflection of different levels of consciousness or spirits. Xinhua is also an entry into the mystery of the YiJing, a story of creation and Gua. I hope you had a good sleep last night. The northwest corner guest room has special transparent qi. Most people say that their breath feels smoother and deeper when they meditate in that room, and I have even felt all the pores of my skin moving with my breath when I have meditated there. I have made a new tea formula for us today. Chrysanthemum with the Hyunhu, clouds and mist. Green tea from my hometown area in southeast China. In general, I don't like to have the fragrance of flowers in my traditional Chinese tea. I prefer the original flavor and aroma of the tea. Chrysanthemum is the only flower that I occasionally choose to mix with my tea because this flower has good purity qi, which will be good for your lungs, your breath, and your energy circulation. The hot tea always slows down our discussion, but it is a good way to enjoy the tea in our conversation. Let us have a cup of tea first. Are you ready for the adventurous part to the mystery of the ancient YiJing? Go ahead, take your sip. Let's start with the creation story. I hope this will help us gain better insight into the Gua. With 3 sips of tea, we can begin the story. So I'm going to take a little sip of my coffee. Which of course I savor just as much as I do my tea. Okay. In the beginning of the universe, there was nothing but one mass of qi. And this qi, and for those of you who have joined us late, qi is the Chinese word for energy, the life force sustaining energy that flows through the universe and all through our bodies. So let's start again. In the beginning of the universe, there was nothing but one mass of qi. And this qi was moving chaotically within the mass. In Chinese, this mass of qi is called Hundun, which means chaos. This mass was shaped like an egg. It was dark, as if it had a black hole or cave within it. After millions of years, the different qualities of qi within the mass started moving in certain directions. The light and clear qi started ascending, and it looked like the white of an egg. The heavy and torpid qi started descending, and it looked like the yolk of an egg. After more millions of years, the ascending qi formed heaven. and the descending chi formed earth. The heavenly chi and the earthly chi were attracted to each other because they originated from the same mass, Hundun. So, after many more millions of years, through their interaction, the heavenly chi and the earthly chi gave birth to all beings. So you're looking at the heavenly chi, which is yang, and the earthly chi, which is yin. So first you have the Tao, which is like that mass of chi, that that unformed, just big, massive chi, the Tao. And then after millions and millions of years of churning and moving, and the energies beginning to churn up, and then they separated into the yin and the yang. And then that yin and the yang created the 10,000 things, as he says right here. So after many more millions of years, through their interaction, the heavenly chi, yang, and the earthly chi, yin, gave birth to all things. And in the Tao, it says gave birth to the 10,000 things. The human being is the most treasured among them and represents all beings. We Are Free TV says chaos can be seen as light, in their opinion. Very good. I encourage everyone to share. And hold on one moment. Hey, sweetheart, how are you? I'm doing a live right now, so can I call you back when I finish? Okay, bye-bye. Okay, bye-bye. All right. I always try to make sure to answer the phone when my children call, and that's my eldest son, who is in grad school, second year grad school, and I always like to answer the phone because you never know. So anyway, he's good. The story comes from Chinese shamanism. From a Chinese Wu shamanic cosmological perspective, the universe is based on the number 3. The universe is constructed of 3 layers in space and time. In space, the layers are upper layer, Tian, heaven, lower layer, Di, earth, and middle layer, Ren, humanity or human beings. In time, the layers are past, present, and future. And this is Tian, heaven, which quite frankly looks like a person. Human beings are a microcosm reflecting this macrocosm. So there again is the idea that we are fractals. We are a fractal portion of the universe, meaning within that fractal, we have everything that the universe has. As my late Reiki teacher, Don Beckett, would say, you are the universe. I am the universe. We are the universe. Human beings are also constructed of 3 layers: Jing, essence, Qi, vital life force, and Shin, spirit, at the energetic level, or upper body, middle body, and lower body at the physical level. Each layer contains its own 3 cosmic layers. The knowledge came from the Wu, ancient Chinese shamans, through their observations of nature, observing the way. They were able to see everything from the parts of the body, the internal world. This means that they observed their own bodies, and through their bodies, they were able to understand the interconnectedness of everything and the reason for the existence of everything. Looking through the universe of your own body is the same as looking at the totality of the universe. Nature has a way of ordering everything in this way. In the science of YiJing numerology, the number 3 embodies the way of the universe. Each gua or trigram, this is a gua here, trigram, that makes up the YiJing. Each gua or trigram is made with 3 lines. The top line represents the heavenly way, the bottom line represents the earthly way, and the middle line represents the human being between heaven and earth. Everything is a unit of the Trinity. Therefore, we can find that everything is related to one of the Gua. This is Yi Dao, way of change. Yi Dao. I'm seeing some art inspiration in these pages. Okay, let me just check the time. I might have, I think I can get through it. I can get through, okay, we're going to try. We can, okay, so this one is T and Yi, divination. We can use different gua to represent different things. When we drink tea, the tea is related to a gua. In general, the tea leaves belong to the Jun gua, the trigram that represents wind. But the gua would be different if we determined a gua. But the gua would be different if we determined a gua from a different kind of tea because the energy would be different. For instance, the pure green color of the double dragon plays with the pearl tea indicates the tea is related to Jin gua, the trigram that represents thunder. You may wonder why the tea and the tea leaves have different gua. It is because the chi energy. The tea leaves is different from the chi of the liquid tea. The quality of the tea leaves is that they hold the energy of heaven, climate, earth, environment, and the human being processing. When we make the tea, we put our energy into combining the tea leaves with the hot water, and which then interact to create a new type of chi. When different people make tea using the same tea leaves and hot water, there may be a big difference in the taste of the tea. Therefore, the gua will be different for the tea made by each person. Sort of reminds me of food. When you can have two people follow the exact same recipe exactly, but because of that current heavenly energy, the earthly energy, and the current of their own personal energy, the food is going to taste completely different. And you know what? You can always tell the difference between food that was made with love and food that was just thrown together to get put out there. Trying not to add any commentary, forgive me. This is an interesting part of the YiJing. The spirit of YiJing is change, which means you can never mechanically identify different gua for the different objects. Actually, the identification of a gua is the foundation of YiJing divination. It will be easy for us to learn how to make out a gua from different things if we have some fundamental knowledge of YiJing. We will discuss the details later. So that's interesting. So what it looks like he's telling us here is it will be easy for us to learn how to make a gua from different things. So basically, like say for instance, say your favorite dish or your something that you really enjoy. I guess learning to understand the energies, the yin and the yang energies that is interplaying in that item and how you interact with it, there you will be able to associate it with a particular gua. Very interesting, very interesting. Going into nature is the best way to improve your knowledge of the YiJing and its gua. I understand the YiJing trigrams better with each moment I was in nature. For instance, every morning right after dawn, I jumped into Cushion Lake during my British Columbia, Canada visit. I sensed the lake water energy to be like ice and crystals penetrating into my body through all the pores of my skin. Man, I would be like, oh, it's cold. Oh, and I'm just thinking about that. It just gave me shivers. Anyway, I felt my body melting into the lake and becoming part of the lake. When I saw that the lake changed her face in each moment, I was experiencing the Wu, ancient Chinese shamans, reading the mystery of nature. So he was experiencing the Wu, reading the mystery of nature. The lake corresponds to the YiJing trigram, Dui. Each trigram has many aspects or meaning, and Dui is lake. Dui is metal. Dui is mouth. Dui is a beautiful teenage girl. Dui is joy. Dui is west. Dui is goat. Dui is shaman. Through the lake, I appreciated that each trigram has many symbolic meanings or patterns, and I knew that there must be an energetic connection among all the trigrams. Now, I'll make another pot of tea with the same tea leaves in the teapot. The aroma continues to arise from the tea, and the tea color has changed to a deeper green. Let us drink the tea to learn more about the YiJing. And I'm just going to take a quick sip of my coffee. I had a few little cardamom seeds down in the bottom. The spirit of YiJing is about Yi. The original meaning of Yi is divination or predict. In general, Yi is translated as change in English. In old YiJing divination school, the divination technique is flexible and not at all mechanical. Please be aware that the flexibility of the divination skill does not mean that you can freely make up your own way. In fact, the divination method itself embodies the three layers of meaning of Yi: the change, Bu Yi, no change, Bian Yi, change, and Jian Yi, simple change. Let us look at these layers. The first layer of meaning of Yi is no change, and it represents the Tao. It represents that the Tao is always there and never changes its way. In the divination, it means that we will never change the rules of the divination and that we must follow the rules. This is similar to the tea. No matter how many different kinds of tea leaves from different areas we use to make our tea, we still call all of them tea. So this is a picture of Cushion Lake in British Columbia, Canada. Okay. The second layer of meaning of Yi is change. It represents, so there's no change and change. And it represents the Tao. Let's see. Okay. And it represents the Tao. It represents that the Tao expresses its way in different patterns in nature and in our daily lives. In divination, it means we can use different techniques to do the divination. And we should understand that the same gua in different situations should be interpreted for different meanings. Do you notice the change in the different sips of tea? This is the same tea, but we can notice a difference from sip to sip and from cup to cup. These differentiations symbolize the subtlety of nature. The subtlety is a subtlety. I'm sorry. The subtlety is an expression of the Tao. The subtlety is an expression of the universe. And the subtlety is an expression of the Yi Tao, the way of change, way of change. The third layer of meaning, Yi, is simple change. So you have no change, change, and then simple change. And it represents that although the Tao expresses its way in different patterns, we can learn about this through vigilant observation. Through simple change, we can see the different patterns in the same object to gain insight about the change. Yi also means that the way of YiJing is simple and easy. In divination, we should catch the simple changes during the YiJing consultation to help us decode the answer. This should be easy to do. Now, let me share one of my experiences with you. The moment the ferry left Fulford Harbor on Salt Spring Island, BC, Canada, I was standing on the deck with my friends and enjoying my last view of the island's magnificence. As I look back at Mount Maxwell, nature showed her magic to me again. The earthly chi rose from the island in the form of a cloud. In just a few minutes, it formed into a bald eagle. I quickly took out my camera and recorded the moment. The eagle was playing with its shamanic power, and in just a few seconds, it changed into a huge tree to connect with heaven and earth. At that moment, I was aware of what the spirit of YiJing is. So, oh, I see it. So here is the eagle. You got the head there. Looks like the talons, the wings, and the tail. And then here at the bottom, you have the tree, the trunk touching earth. And then the leaves, the branches, top of the tree touching heaven. Okay. YiJing is about Yi, change. It is essentially about the phenomena, the idea, and the process of change as the basic dynamic of the universe. Let's go back to the cloud pattern. What will we learn from this cloud in our YiJing study? Happy 11/11, Pavel. Hi, Pavel. Welcome. Let's go back to the cloud pattern. What will we learn from this cloud in our YiJing study? No matter what pattern a cloud forms, we still call it a cloud. This is the meaning of no change, and it represents that the Tao is always there and never changes its way of change. The meaning of change can be seen in the cloud pattern changing from an eagle into a tree, which demonstrates that the Tao expresses its way in different patterns in nature and in our daily lives. Although the cloud changed into different patterns, we can still recognize it as the pattern of an eagle or a tree. This is the meaning of simple change. It represents that although Tao expresses its way in different patterns, we can still learn about this through our vigilant observation. From a YiJing numerological perspective, the three layers of change are known as Han, San, He, Yi, which means holding three in one. Chinese ancient Wu shamans understood that three is the universal creation number. Trinity is one of the most important concepts in the Chinese shamanic spiritual traditions. Yi, change, is the expression of the Tao. It is the number one, Yi, in Chinese. The three layers of change are represented by the number 3, San, in Chinese. In the YiJing, one trigram is made of 3 lines. To understand the number 3 is and another way to understand Yi, change, and the Tao. Wow, that's really interesting. You know, it almost seems like every spiritual tradition, religious tradition, spiritual tradition, has these little bits and fragments and fractals of quote unquote truly universal truths in it. You know, it's very interesting. Very interesting. Let us try another sip of tea. This tea may help us grasp the meaning of the simple change. I taste the tea with the tip of my tongue and notice the flavor is a little bitter. I taste the tea again with the coat of my tongue and spread the aroma, and the aroma spreads into my mouth. As I send the tea through my throat down to my dantian, I feel the sweet flavor swirling in my throat. Then my mouth is full of the sweet lingering taste as if I had drunk the juice of a honeydew melon. This is simple change. This experience of a sip of tea confirms my spiritual cultivation path from bitter to sweet. Is life patterning the same as this sip of tea? What is your experience of this sip of tea? So we're going to leave the reading here and just invite you guys to, next time you make your cup of tea, and that's whether it's green tea, black tea, white tea, oolong tea, and all the different myriads of green tea, of teas in between there. Take your time and really pin, savor. The Chinese word pin, savor, which is to study. Pin your tea, savor the moment. Notice how the tea touches the tip of your tongue, and then, the flavor that begins there, and then feel it bring the tea on over the top of your tongue, or as Master Wu calls it, the coat of your tongue, all the way to the back of your throat. And remember, on your tongue, different areas, you're going to have different flavors. You're going to have bitter in some places, sweet in others, more neutral in others. Really embrace and enjoy that sip of tea. Just going to check the chat room. Thank you, We Are Free. Thank you, Pavel. Thank you, everyone. And even those, we only have 2 in the chat that are communicating, but I know that there's others watching as well. I appreciate every single one of you. I implore you to keep going. Even, it is okay when you have those moments of feeling down. It is okay when you have those moments where you want to stay in the bed and pull the cover up over your head and even be in fetal position. It is okay. Breathe deep. Allow yourself to feel whatever emotion or expression that you're feeling. Please do not feel, being on a quote unquote spiritual path does not mean everything's gonna be like a crystal stairs and everything is gonna look sunny and rosy and smelling good. Sometimes you're gonna have some up days, sometimes you're gonna have some down days, but it is okay. Because just remember, the feelings that you're feeling is not you. It's just a temporary situation, a temporary experience that is passing through you in order to teach you something in that moment. And as I have to constantly remind myself, when I stay at my center, when I stay focused on my center, I am able to weather any storm. That's any situation that I'm going through, especially the ones that make me feel uncomfortable. Those are needed. And then those situations that make you feel really good, observe those as well, because they are temporary as well, and they are there to show you something, not for you to grasp on. So let's take a nice deep centering breath. Please remember to hit the thumbs up on this video, share this video, click subscribe, and click the notification bell. My name is Tamu Ngina, Priestess Heart, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's take a moment to remember our ancestors and all those who have come before us. Peace, 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 and great bliss.